Welcome to CBC Windsor News at 6. I'm Meg Roberts. Thanks so much for spending part of your evening with us tonight. We're learning more about the individual who was shot by police downtown Windsor Friday. Plus, Windsor Mayor is warning residents of the potential for another big tax increase. And the Detroit Lions putting on a show in Game 1 of the season. We have a Rose City rewind that goes back to 1982 when ticket sales were through the roof. New details have been made public today about the fatal shooting involving Windsor police. A 57-year-old died Friday morning after an interaction with police at the downtown beer store. The CBC's Jason Vio has the latest.
Some caution tape still remains outside of the closed beer store in downtown Windsor as Ontario's Special Investigations Unit looks into what happened here on Friday. We do now know that 2 Windsor police officers did fire their weapons here, according to the SIU, although they won't say how many shots were fired. We also know that 2 knives were involved in the incident, but they aren't releasing more information on that either. Today, a quiet scene after the SIU left on Saturday, but Friday around 10:30 in the morning, officers were called to this area for a disturbance. There was an interaction between a man and police, and then shots were fired by 2 officers. Stephen Mull, who goes by Shaman Stirs the Fire, says he knew the 57-year-old man who died. At the end of last year, the 2 Indigenous men briefly lived together.
In my mind and in my heart, all I could see was a radiant smile, because he was always smiling and always. He just had a good vibe about him.
On Saturday, Mull performed an Indigenous song in his friend's honor right next to where he was killed.
In our teachings, he was supposed to have been buried the next day, but he's somewhere in some freezer right now. But like in our teachings, by not completing the path, I had to come and sing his spirit, so that way his spirit can continue on his path.
A post-mortem was completed yesterday. 1 officer has also been treated and released from hospital with a minor cut. Psychologically, though, the local police union says they're trying to ensure the officers involved get the proper supports.
This is a very significant and serious incident that took place. It's very tragic, and this has a profound impact on the members involved. And it's not just like immediately after an incident like this. This is long-term. This can go on. You never know what the symptoms are going to be long-term.
Rice is sending his condolences to the family and friends of the man who died, saying it's an extremely difficult situation for everyone involved. He says officers hope to finish a 30-year career without ever having to use their gun.
Those feelings of could I have done more, could I have de-escalated, those doubts they're within every member, and those are humanizing factors that these members care about people, and this is the last thing.
The beer store has been closed here since Friday. A sign on the door says it will reopen tomorrow. A spokesperson for the company says those workers who were inside are receiving supports. As for the investigation, the SIU says it continues to interview witnesses and look for security camera footage. Jason Vio, CBC News, Windsor.
A surprise City of Windsor budget update has some councillors saying words like wowzers. The cost to run the City of Windsor is on the rise, and it means either higher taxes or cuts to city services. The CBC's Chris Ensing was at council today and has more.
If you're a homeowner in Windsor who pays taxes, you're going to want to check out today's City Council meeting. I'm Chris Ensing. I cover City Hall. And the councillors were saying things like they're panicking, that it's a huge number, and the mayor says that there's no sacred cows when it comes to the 2025 operating budget. They have 6 months to figure out how to sort this all out, either by raising your tax bill a record amount or cutting services. I was inside the nearly empty city chambers when there was a surprise budget update. Mayor Drew Dilkens saying it's a challenging budget with early budgets from city staff requiring the highest tax increase in 20 years. That's building on the past 2 years where we already saw taxes jump at rates higher than any year since 2008. Right now, city staff are trying to find ways to either save money or make money, and they're focusing on the operational budget. It's going up because of inflation, pay raises for city workers like police officers. Dilkens asked straight up, are we looking at a double-digit tax hike?
No, we'll find the cuts, so I'm not going to put that out there that we're looking at double digits.
Dilkens won't say how much the budget has jumped this year, and he won't say if city jobs are on the line.
We won't go there yet. Let's look at, I don't want to ring the panic bell or the alarm bell.
Too late for that, says one councillor, also trying to get a number from the city.
And all I hear from administration is whispers saying, it's going to be bad.
We don't want to create
panic in the community at
It's
this
already
point in
there,
time.
Janice. I'm panicking right now. I'm hiding it, but I'm panicking.
So what's next? Council's going to split into 3 groups and dig through departments with staff to figure out efficiencies. The mayor says they need to consider everything.
It will require you to look at services that we deliver and the way we deliver it today, and whether we need to do that, whether it's appropriate to do that.
But already, one of Windsor's most experienced councillors is worried there isn't enough time to do anything that makes enough of an impact.
I just don't think we're going to find what we need to find in this truncated exercise.
That truncated exercise starts soon, and they say it's all going to happen with public meetings that you can watch. But there's none scheduled right now. That's for later. So it's up to the mayor, who will have the final decision on what budget to present to council, either one that has a higher tax rate or with cuts to bring it to something more manageable. He has to do that by February.
As Windsor City Council prepares to consider another contested housing project, the mayor is warning people that it's nearly impossible to deny new residential development applications once they reach council. Over the past few years, residents across the city have petitioned specific development projects in their neighborhoods. The mayor says council had more ability to respond to residents' concerns in the past, but don't have that same ability today. He said once there's a report from the city planner and a positive vote by the standing committee, it's almost impossible to turn down. There's currently an application out to council from a developer who wants to convert residential lots on 6th Concession near Holborn Street into 5 townhouses. A Windsor woman is in hospital with life-threatening injuries in what police are calling a case of intimate partner violence. The victim was assaulted in a vehicle, then knocked to the ground after she got out. The driver then sped away. The 36-year-old woman was found in the area of Paulette Road around 2 a.m. Sunday. According to police, she was assaulted following an argument with a 34-year-old man. The man has been arrested and is facing several charges, including aggravated assault. He can't be named to protect the identity of the victim. A 39-year-old motorcyclist is dead after being hit by a pickup truck in East Windsor. Police say the man and his passenger were found lying on the road Saturday night. The man died in hospital. The passenger has non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the pickup truck is a 41-year-old man from Windsor. He's been charged with impaired driving, which has left advocates in the community shaken.
This is a very, very tragic situation that occurred. A young male lost his life, and a young female has injuries due to, somebody's reckless decision to drive impaired. It is disheartening. It's saddening. Unfortunately, it's not surprising. Plan ahead before you decide to have, that first toke or that first sip of alcohol. Planning ahead can save lives.
I get shook up a bit. It's just when a girlfriend is with me, she's digging through my side when she sees a car coming up to a stop saying, is he got to stop or not? But I've been riding 55 years, and yeah, all the time I sit back, should I keep riding? That's what I love to do. I love riding.
Police say the accident happened at the intersection of Lausanne Parkway and Lausanne Line. The pickup truck turned to go eastbound when it hit the motorcycle. The impaired pickup driver faces several charges. Police are still investigating and ask that witnesses or people with video of the incident contact them. Dozens of federal workers took to the street today in support of telework. They're members of the Public Service Alliance of Canada and were rallying against a mandate that took effect today. It requires them to work in office 3 days a week.
We are being mandated to return to office 3 days a week starting today. A return to work mandate, a return to office mandate that we feel is unnecessary. The last 3 years, our workers have been working from home, and they have been working from home well. We do not know how that has changed. Nothing has changed in terms of productivity. They have not been able to give us any kind of statistics that would support their claim that our productivity has dwindled since this time.
The resolution is they come back to the table and start discussing what a work-life balance actually means and what our employees actually need and our members need. And we go from there. We're not asking for much. We're literally asking for consultation, which is what we ask for in everything. Just give us a little bit of respect.
So this return to office really does target racialized, marginalized individuals, people who are on disability. They're not accommodating the duty to accommodate that we have in regards to people returning to work. Making us go back in 3 times a week is unnecessary. 3 times a week to take a phone call or 3 times a week to be on camera does not make any sense.
Let me ask you. Workers say the new rule undermines progress made toward a more modern, flexible, and inclusive public service. Similar rallies took place in multiple cities around the country. We're into the second week of September now, and those temperatures, they're, well, warming up. Just how much? Riley Lachuk is here to tell us.
Well, Meg, certainly a sunny day once again today and quite warm throughout the region. We'll talk temperatures in a minute. First, wanted to show you satellite and radar through the afternoon hours here. Mainly sunny skies, a few sprinkles through Chatham-Kent up toward London. This is a part of a little bit of instability that has rolled through parts of the GTA through the afternoon. In fact, this system here did spark a brief tornado warning in the Niagara region. Nothing like that coming our way, but we will have some warm temperatures and much above seasonal as we get into the next few days. So looking at afternoon highs, 26 in Windsor and Chatham-Kent, low 20s and even high teens as that system rolled through parts of eastern Ontario throughout the afternoon. A bit closer to home here, 25 in Sarnia, 22 in London this afternoon. These temperatures a good few degrees above seasonal for this time of the year. And that's what we can expect as we get through the next few days here. So as we get into the overnight period, a slim chance maybe of another sprinkle or two. Otherwise, a mostly clear night tonight. We start mainly sunny tomorrow morning through southwestern Ontario, and that's what we get throughout the afternoon. Not a lot of weather to talk about. In fact, we have a ridge of high pressure setting in, and this is really going to clear skies and warm our temperatures as we get into the next few days. So even as we head into Wednesday, you can see mainly sunny skies, a little bit of high weather cloud, but other than that, not a lot to talk about. And as mentioned, it's because of this ridge of high pressure that is over northwestern Ontario that will skirt a little bit further to the east and a little bit further to the south as we get through the day on Tuesday. This will allow our temperatures to really warm up across southern Ontario as we get into the rest of the work week, and really doesn't start to erode till we get a little bit later into the week and into the weekend. That's when we can maybe expect our next chance of showers. But by and large, looking at dry conditions over the next several days for southwestern Ontario. 8 tonight in London, 9 in Chatham-Kent. Watch for some patchy fog potentially overnight tonight through the Sarnia region. Double digits through Leamington and Windsor, and warm and hot and sunny conditions through tomorrow again. Mid-20s, 26 in Windsor tomorrow afternoon. And that's what we keep, Meg, as we get through the next several days. 29 for Wednesday, 30 for Thursday, then a bit of cloud cover starts to roll in time for the weekend.
Thanks for that, Riley. Well, the Detroit Lions off to a banner start, winning their home opener last night, 26-20 against the Los Angeles Rams. And LaSalle native Kylie Moss was there to take it all in. The 3-time Olympian from LaSalle was being honored in Detroit for her bronze medal in Paris. Moss made history after landing on the podium in 3 consecutive Olympics. Last night, trading in the red and white for some blue. As the Detroit Lions season gets underway, we look back at 1982 when tickets in Windsor were a hot commodity. Former CBC Windsor reporter Ron Lindsay with this story.
Windsor Detroit Lions fan club.
It's football season again, and Windsor's #1 Detroit Lions fan is doing what he seems to enjoy. Heck Trudell sells the tickets to Windsor Lions fans. He also organizes the bus trips from Micmac Park to the Pontiac Silverdome. The local fan club he started many years ago, with a single bus load, has grown to as many as 1,500 people a game on a caravan of 30 buses. Ticket sales have grown so much over the years that he's had to set up a desk in a travel bureau next door to the Ottawa Street men's shop, where he still sells expensive suits part-time.
Yes.
So this will be retirement for Heck Trudell, who has missed only 1 Lions game in 30 years.
Beautiful sunny evening there with that sunset happening just a little bit earlier now. We have more coming up after the break. Air Canada says it's making plans to suspend flights next week as the company and the pilots union remain far apart in negotiations. If no agreement is reached, either side could issue a strike or lockout notice as early as Sunday, September 15th. Wages remain a key sticking point. The company has called the Airline Pilots Association demands excessive. The union says Air Canada should come to the bargaining table instead of threatening to disrupt flights. ALPA represents more than 5,200 pilots at Canada's largest carrier. Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge operate about 670 flights daily. An NDP by-election flyer is causing a stir. It shows Craig Sauvé, the party's candidate for a Montreal riding, in front of a Palestinian flag. The caption, which is written in French, says, "A vote for him is a vote to, quote, stop the genocide in Gaza." Olivia Stefanovic has more.
Just a week before Montrealers head to the polls in this hotly contested riding, one of the leading candidates is getting attention for sending a new campaign message.
It is a positive development that political parties are starting to see support for Palestine as an electoral benefit rather than a liability.
But the move is also receiving condemnation.
To have anybody, any candidate for any party, putting out literature with a flag of a foreign entity seems to us to be unacceptable.
And political opponents are pouncing too. Conservative Deputy Leader Melissa Lantsman asking on X, formerly known as Twitter, whether NDP leader Jagmeet Singh approved of the pamphlet.
The radical NDP is once again dividing Canadians with incendiary and extremist rhetoric that puts the Jewish community at risk.
The backlash prompting the NDP to go on the defense, saying it's, quote, ludicrous to suggest that when a politician is seen with another flag, it's un-Canadian, pointing to photos of Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and former Prime Minister Stephen Harper, photographed with flags from other countries, though none of the images were produced in an election pamphlet.
NDP may do whatever they want.
Criticism also coming from the Bloc Québécois, a party with its hopes set high for next week's by-election, too. A competitive race with the conflict in Gaza front and center.
There's a lot of people who have family in that region. Who live in Montreal.
This columnist says the NDP's decision is a strategic move after more than 50 Arab and Muslim Liberal staffers signed a letter announcing they will not campaign for a party that, quote, excludes us and our values.
And so that's what they're trying to do, is trying to basically win over the Liberals by being bolder in their stance on the war in Gaza.
With polls showing the NDP has a chance of winning LaSalle and Verdun, New Democrats will find out if their strategy pays off next Monday night. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
Democratic Party candidate Kamala Harris and Republican nominee Donald Trump are gearing up ahead of the first and possibly only U.S. presidential debate. They'll go head-to-head tomorrow night in Philadelphia in high-stakes matchup as new polling shows the candidates locked in a tight race. CBC's Richard Madden reports from Washington.
Trump is not fit to be president again.
On the eve of the high-stakes debate, Vice President Kamala Harris launching this new attack ad airing in key swing states, using words from Donald Trump's closest advisors to make her case.
It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
Ahead of the first and possibly only face-off between these presidential contenders, there's tremendous pressure on both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris to make their case to American voters in an election that polls suggest is neck and neck. Trump's advisors are urging him to focus on economic anxieties, blaming the Biden-Harris administration for runaway inflation, lax immigration, and high cost of living, and to avoid stoking conspiracies, lying, and personal attacks.
Well, I think that when he stays on the issues, policies, absolutely those are the winning issues. Because again, whether it's crime, whether it's the border, whether it's Israel.
Harris has been trying to define herself as a clean break from the angry, divisive politics dominated by Trump, aligning with some policies from the Biden administration while distancing herself from others. Her advisors are urging her to stay focused and avoid taking the bait from Trump's distractions.
the less we're talking about him and the more we're talking about you, the better it's going to be for the vice president, because she has laid out an agenda. Things like making sure that our tax code is fair and protecting a woman's right to choose.
Now, both candidates are portraying themselves as agents of change, despite the fact Trump was once president and Harris is vice president. These undecided voters say they'll be watching very closely.
I haven't swayed who I'm going to vote for, but I still want to hear what all parties have to say, though.
This debate is really tight, and they're both very strong candidates. I'm a victim of gun violence, so I stand for all what she has to say on that topic.
Now, the debate format is 90 minutes. There'll be no studio audience, and microphones will be muted when the other person is speaking, giving voters, especially those critical undecided ones, an unfiltered moment to hear from the two candidates with two starkly different visions of the country. Richard Madden, CBC News, Washington.
Stay tuned. We have more news coming up after the break. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, says she's finished her chemotherapy treatment. She made the announcement in a video featuring her children and Prince William.
As the summer comes to an end, I cannot tell you what a relief it is to have finally completed my chemotherapy treatment. The last 9 months have been incredibly tough for us as a family. Life as you know it can change in an instant, and we've had to find a way to navigate the stormy waters and road unknown. The cancer journey is complex, scary, and unpredictable for everyone, especially those closest to you.
She says she is now focused on doing what she can to stay cancer-free and will be returning to some public duties in the coming months. In March, the princess revealed she had been diagnosed with an undisclosed type of cancer and was undergoing preventative treatment. It was surfs up for dozens of dogs over the weekend in San Diego.
3, 2, 1.
More than 50 pups spent the afternoon trying to catch a wave in the longest-running canine surf competition in the U.S. The pups sported their finest outfits as their humans cheered them on, each vying to fetch the title of Best in Surf. Organizers say it's not about winning or losing, but having a good time. It's the 19th year of the fundraising event to benefit a local animal shelter. Well, that's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can go to our website at cbc.ca/Windsor. You can also download the CBC News app for stories that matter most to you. And don't forget to watch The National tonight at 9 on CBC News Network, 10 p.m. on the CBC News app, CBC TV, and streaming. Thanks so much for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you back here tomorrow night.